Today we're going to look at some answers on the topic of the media in part 3 of the speaking test. Let's go. Question 1. What's the difference between old media and new media?
It seems to me like the old media is like newspapers and television, which tend to be for more older generations. For example, my grandfather still watches television, but even he is not into newspapers, and he thinks they are a waste of money. The new media is like social media platforms such as apps and Instagram, for instance. That's where younger people stay informed nowadays.
So in this answer, the candidate did several things well. We'll choose 4. So first of all, sentence frames. He says, "It seems to me that." This is a much better way of saying "I think" or "in my opinion." Secondly, relative pronouns. He says, "which tend to be for the older generations." Using the word which, a relative pronoun, extends the fluency of his answer, and it's good grammar because he uses it correctly. And what is good grammar? Well, it's the use of complex sentences, at least more than one clause. So if you use which, if you use who, if you use that, it makes the sentence longer with at least 2 clauses. Thirdly, and importantly, the candidate uses the C structure. So if you don't know what the C structure is, check out my previous video here. SEE. He states something, he explains it, and he gives an example. Now, it's good to give any examples that are relevant. In this case, he uses real names like X and Instagram. And if it's possible to do that, it's always good to do so. Name the name. And the fourth good thing he does in his answer is use the word as. So he does not repeat the word because over and over again. Instead, he shows the examiner he knows a variety of words, in this case as, which mean because, and also join his sentences and extend his fluency. That was answer number 1, a good start. Let's look at answer number 2. Question 2. Do you think the contents in newspapers and on television today are reliable?
Definitely not, since most newspapers and television news are owned and run by the rich and powerful. They represent the views of those well-off people, and they mostly all think the same thing and want you and I to follow them. For example, they may tell me who to vote for or who should I like or dislike. Unfortunately, there are fewer facts and more opinions in newspapers and TV. From my perspective, this is bias, and I prefer to make up my own mind. It's better to be informed rather than ill-informed.
Last time he said as instead of because. This time he used another word, since. So since is a word that we all know. He uses since in this example instead of because. So he's shown the examiner he knows because, as, and since. And that's just in 2 answers already. He uses some good phrases like the views of those well-off people, rich people. Relative clauses again, which are always useful for extending your sentences and fluency. This time he uses who. The last time he said which. Another good expression the candidate uses is fewer facts, more opinion. And he's basically saying that the newspapers today don't really report facts, they report opinion. Sentence frame, last time he said, "it seems to me that," which is good. So this time he says, "from my perspective." Another good phrase he uses is, "it's better to be informed rather than ill-informed." Ill-informed often means like you've been not just informed, but you've been informed badly. And passives like are owned and run. Now that's obviously a kind of grammar that impresses an examiner if it's used correctly in writing and particularly in speaking when you have to think quickly. Moving on to question 3. Do you think it's important for people to watch foreign news?
No, due to the fact that television is relevant, especially to younger generations who would rather open for social media to get their news. Social media platform like apps let you see more side of problems or situation. and they don't tell you what to think. Social media can also show you what is happening much faster than newspapers or TV. Additionally, you can get eyewitness videos from those events from a variety of perspectives. All of this means you can form your own opinions, which is a good thing.
Another good answer. This time he gives examples again, this time using X as an example, a solid example from the real world. Secondly, he uses another phrase for because. He did not say because, he did not say as or since this time. He said due to the fact that. Therefore, this candidate has a variety or a range of words that mean because. And of course, he uses some good words and expressions. For example, a variety of perspectives. Irrelevant, a good word. And a bit of topic vocabulary this time, eyewitness video. Therefore, so far, the candidate has spread good language throughout his answer without repeating the same words over and over again. So finally, let's look at his answer to question 4, which slightly changes the topic a little bit. Let's go. What kind of famous people are in the news in your country today?
The first people who came to my mind are celebrities like singers or actors, for example. They are often in the limelight. People want to know about them. Although I understand that some like Tom Cruise, for example, prefer to keep out of the public eyes and away from the social circus. And despite this, there are many celebrities from social media also, such as Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian.
So in this answer, the student began with another sentence frame. That's number 1, sentence frames, remember? So instead of saying I think, or it seems to me that, in my opinion, instead he said the first people who come to mind are, very natural expression and a variation on his previous sentence frames and vocabulary. Secondly, he uses the C structure, this time letting the examiner hear him use it by saying, for example, and such as, plus he includes a solid real-world example by naming Tom Cruise. Thirdly, he uses more joining words, not for because this time, but instead of but. So this time he uses words instead of but. So instead of but, he says although, and even better, instead of although, he says despite this. So he has shown but, although, and despite this throughout his answer. Fourthly, his words and phrases include idiomatic language. For example, in the limelight, to keep out of the public eye, and the media circus. 3 uses of idiomatic language, which usually you do not expect from anyone below a 7. So here are some examples with the idioms he used. To be in the limelight, to be in the spotlight. After winning the award, the actor was suddenly in the limelight. Every newspaper, every television person wanted to interview him. The politician's controversial statements put her in the limelight. Everyone was talking about her. As the lead singer of a popular band, he's used to being in the limelight. People want to talk to him and interview him and see him at concerts all the time. To keep out of the public eye. After her highly publicized breakup, the actress decided to keep out of the public eye for a while. The billionaire is famous for his generosity, but he likes to keep out of the public eye and not let anyone know about it. Many authors enjoy writing, but they like to keep out of the public eye to avoid the spotlight. The media circus. So the court trial turned into a media circus with reporters and interviewers outside the courtroom all day and all night. The politician's scandal became a media circus with reporters and TV crews following him everywhere he went. When the famous actor got arrested, it turned into a media circus with the paparazzi following him everywhere. So to sum up, what makes this candidate's score a possible 8 for IELTS? Well, it's because he uses a number of good language features spread out like butter across the entire answer. It's because he uses a variety of language features, including a variety of different words and phrases, spread out throughout all of his answers. And this is what the examiner's listening for. For more videos like this, subscribe below.